Hello, we are continuing explanation and commentary to the timeline by Sylvia Halpert. My name is Yair Davidiy. I'm speaking to you from Jerusalem, and our organization, Brit-Am Hebrew Nations, works towards a reconciliation between Judah and the 10 tribes of Israel. The 10 tribes of Israel are often represented by Joseph. We have here a picture. Before we start, it's worth looking at this picture of a lion and a unicorn in unity, with the lion kissing the horn of the unicorn. And this lion represents Judah, that is the Jewish people, and the unicorn that represents Joseph, 10 tribes of Israel, and ultimately they will reunite. Originally there were 12 tribes of Israel. The world was created for the 12 tribes of Israel, to bring the 12 tribes of Israel into being. They had a divine task to fulfill. They were not, for reasons unknown to us or not so clear to us, they were unable at that time to fulfill the task that was laid upon them as a unity, and they had to divide, they had to separate, and in the end times they will reunite after the individual tasks, the individual aspects of their combined task, as if to say, will have been fulfilled. This is the whole secret of humanity. The whole secret of world history is combined in this initial unity, the division, and the reunification that will come about. And this timeline by Sylvia Halpert describes a good portion of the history that is involved in this process. Now, we saw that Adam and Eve were the first man and women. God created Adam and Eve as the first man and woman, and all of mankind are descended from Adam and Eve, and all of mankind have some combined commonality between them, which we should always remember. Then mankind destroyed its way upon the earth and was punished, and the deluge came, the flood came, and destroyed all of existence apart from Noah, who was in his ark in the boat, together with representatives of the animals, and all of mankind came out of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And out of Shem we have Abraham. Abraham, originally known as Abram, or Abram, was the first Hebrew. Abraham begat Isaac, Ishmael, and Isaac. Ishmael became the forefather of the Arabs, of the Arab peoples, and Ishmael represents the forces of Islam, the Muslims. Isaac received the blessing. He received the blessing of Abraham, and he was considered, from the point of view of the Almighty, as the only son of Abraham. Abraham continued the lineage and the blessing through Isaac. Isaac gave birth to twins. He begat twins, Esau and Yaakov. Esau gave rise to different elements, powerful elements in the world today, including the founders of the Roman Empire, of Germanic civilization, of Japan, of other places, different areas throughout the world, different groups. But he was not the one who received the blessings. The blessings were given to Jacob. Jacob was known as Israel. It was renamed Israel by the Almighty. Israel means overcome with God, or together with God, rule with God, and struggle through, bearing up and struggling against the objective conditions and powers of adversity that come against us. We must keep on struggling. That is the story of Jacob, who became Israel. We must struggle, and we must keep up and continue in our faith, in our belief, and follow through according to the Bible, according to the biblical message, and according to the God of the Bible. Jacob had 4 wives, or looking at it in another way, he married 2 sisters, Leah and Rachel, and each one had a handmaiden, and both from the sisters and from the handmaidens he begat children. all events, 4 women were involved, and he begat children from all of them. From Leah, who was his first wife, who can be considered in some ways his primary wife, Jacob begat 6 sons. Remember, Jacob was also known as Israel, and Israel was to become the primary name, the foremost name that he would be known by. And as from Leah, he begat Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. Analysis show us, indicate that Reuben begat, or was the forefather of many people who now live in France. Simeon was to be found throughout all of the Israelite tribes, with a special predominance amongst the so-called Celtic nations, Wales and Ireland and so on, and Brittany, in western France. Levi was initially scattered throughout all of the Israelite tribes, but most of Levi afterwards attached themselves to Judah. Judah represents the primary element amongst the Israelite tribes. He was the one who was to remain faithful. He gave rise to the Jewish people as we know them today. In biblical terms, the Jewish people are referred to as Judah, and out of Judah will come the messianic ruler of all of mankind at the end times. Judah is the lawgiver. We have Issachar, who gave rise to elements in Finland and also in Switzerland, Zebulun in the Netherlands. They are the sons of Leah. From Zilpah, the handmaiden of Leah, Jacob begat Gad and Asher. Gad gave rise to the Goths and to people in Sweden, Asher to people in Scandinavia and in Ireland. Rachel, the sister of Leah, the other main matriarch, one could say, begat, or through Jacob. Jacob begat through Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin, and from Bilhah, the handmaiden of Rachel, Jacob begat Dan and Naphtali. Dan gave rise to the people of Denmark. Denmark is even named. The Danes are named after Dan. Naphtali peoples in Ireland and elsewhere, possibly in Norway, as we have shown, as a study of ours has shown. Whereas Joseph became the progenitor of many in the West. Joseph begat Ephraim and Manasseh. From Ephraim came out many of the English-speaking peoples, especially Britain and the offshoots of Britain, whereas Manasseh gave rise to the USA as far as national characteristics are concerned. Numerically, it may be that there are more descendants of Ephraim in the USA than there are elsewhere, but the national characteristics of the USA pertain more to Manasseh, from a symbolic point of view at least. As remember that Ephraim and Manasseh were the sons of Joseph. Joseph had been given a coat of many colors, as it says in the Bible. In Hebrew it says cotton pasim, and an analysis of this grammatical construct of this word and of its meaning indicates that it was actually a coat made of intertwining squares, in other words a tartan type design. So in a tartan colored cloak was what Joseph wore, and then we think this is important. Benjamin, the other son of Rachel, was to be prominent amongst the Jewish people. He linked up with Judah. They had 12 tribes of Israel. 12 tribes of Israel split into 2 different sections. The northern section comprised 10 tribes. The southern section comprised, at first, the tribes of Joseph and Benjamin. And later many from Levi attached themselves to this southern section, and after that even more representative minorities from all of the tribes also attached themselves to the southern section of Judah, and from this the people who were dwelling in this area of Judah emerged the foundational elements of the Jewish people. Nevertheless, the majority of the Israelites were in the north, within the 10 tribes. the 10 tribes in the northern kingdom, and these 10 tribes were taken into exile by the Assyrians. They were exiled and they lost consciousness of their ancestry. Another point worth remembering is that we have the story of Joseph. Joseph was disliked by his brothers. He may have been partly guilty, he may not have been. At all events, he was sold as a slave. They sold him as a slave to the Egyptians. In Egypt, he became a powerful ruler, effective ruler, or de facto ruler of the country. And his brothers came down to buy grain because there was a famine in the world. And Joseph was reconciled with them. As a result of this, all of the sons of Jacob, the 12 sons of Jacob, and their children and some of their grandchildren, came down to Egypt and settled there. And the Bible lists the people who came down, and altogether we have 70 souls. 70 souls descended into Egypt. And these 70 souls, whose names are listed, have clan names. They are shown to have been ultimately the forefathers of clans within the Israelite nation, as we see in the Bible, and also as confirmed by archaeology and other findings. And these clan names persisted all the way through their periods of exile and through their history. We find these clan names recurring. They kept the clan names with them, and these clan names are often the names of tribes or even of whole nations who settled in Western Europe and helped found Western civilization. And we have a book dedicated to this subject known as The Tribes, and this book is quite successful. At all events, these 70 souls went down to Egypt. They represent the 70 different aspects of the Israelite nation. And we also have 70 sons or grandsons and sons of grandsons of Noah listed in the Bible. And the Bible tells us that these 70 sons of and the Bible tells us that these 70 clan names of Israel are against the 70 nations of the world, and ultimately these Israelite nations or descendants of Israelites will rule over all the nations of the earth, and which section rules over whom may be indicated by similarities of the names in question and other factors. So that is a subject for another study. At all events, this is what we have. May the Lord God of Israel bless all of you. Thank you.